Good afternoon. Yes, afternoon, because it's almost 5 p.m. as I'm starting this vlog. But the reason I'm doing this vlog is because with the recent Black Friday sales that have been going on, I've actually picked up a few things that I wanted to test out. And yes, this is going to be sort of like a techie video, but I'm not a tech channel and I'm not a tech reviewer. But as an enthusiast of tech, I wanted to get my hands on some of the things that I have been eyeing for a while. So as some of you probably already know, if you've been watching my other videos, I do have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a great camera that's got built-in gimbal on it. Now, I have been thinking about this, and there was an idea that I got from YouTube as well, is I've been wanting to upgrade my Osmo Action 3 to the Action 5 Pro. And so during the Black Friday sales, I did that. I did get the Action 5 Pro. And then in my research on YouTube found that, you could use a gimbal with the Action 5 to have sort of like a bigger version of the Pocket 3. And you're probably thinking, well, why do you even need that if you've got the Pocket 3? And this might sound silly, but well, with the Pocket 3, you can't really take it underwater or be too aggressive with it, because it's not an action camera, it's got a gimbal, right? But this one, you can take it off the gimbal, but also when I use my action camera for vlogging, I don't really hold it with just my hand straight onto the camera. I put it onto some kind of an extension pole or a selfie stick, essentially. And I thought, well, if I was going to do that anyway, why don't I get one that's a gimbal? So the one that I have, that I bought with it, is not a gimbal for an action camera. It is a gimbal for a phone. This is the Hohem, I think it's called iSteady V3. And I'll put that information in the screen so that you know exactly which one it is. But I will explain as we go through this vlog why I chose this. But mainly the Action 5 Pro is because it connects to a microphone, which my Action 3 doesn't. I know that I could have gone with the Action 4, but that only connects with one microphone. And sometimes when I vlog, I want to vlog with my friend, and my friend is happy to be on the vlog and be talking on the vlog, and I want her to be heard as well. So that's one thing, but I also feel like there would be some vlogs, especially, I was thinking of starting a few things. Anyway, long story short, I wanted to be able to connect with two microphones. The other thing is, I was actually on the fence of getting the 4 versus the 5, because it's a significant, I think it's like $130 difference here in Australia. But the latest firmware update with the Action 5 has fixed a lot of things, especially the Supernight mode. And so that's one of the things that I want to test today. And that's why I'm only starting this vlog at 5 p.m. because it's summer here in Australia at the moment, and the sun doesn't set until around about 8:30-ish. So I wanted to get a few videos with the sun still out so that I can test it with how it is. I am currently filming in 4K 25 with Rocksteady on. And then I'm going to test out Supernight later and see how that is different versus just increasing the ISO setting on the Action 5. And then as we go throughout the day, I'll explain why this gimbal is the one that I chose. There is a Hohem iSteady Pro 4, which is specifically for action cameras. I did try that, but I returned it. I am thinking about getting it again and then returning this one, but I feel like I'm not going to do that. I'm leaning towards keeping this, even though it's not technically made for an action camera. All right. That's a super long intro. Apologies for that. It is currently sitting on the gimbal. This is how it's going. And I'll show you one thing that I really like about this right now. So it has an independent tracker. When I say independent tracker, it can be removed from the gimbal. So all I have to do is do the OK sign. The LED light is going to turn green and it's going to start tracking me. Like so. And then if I raise my hand like that, it's going to turn red again. And now it stopped tracking. My Osmo Pocket 3 has that tracking ability. And so this is sort of like the big brother combo of my Pocket 3. I'm still going to be bringing my Pocket 3 everywhere I go because that is, to me, the best vlogging camera. But the field of view, is that the right term? Yeah. Field of view is quite limited with the Pocket 3. Even if you put the wide lens on it, it just turns the 20 mm field of view to a 15 mm field of view. This is so much wider. Yeah, so let's go out, take some photos with my Nikon ZF, spend a few hours outside, and I'll talk you through what went in my head and why I did this. The other reason a gimbal is a good idea is because it helps to make the movements smooth. And I know that the 5 Pro's image stabilization is already pretty good, but this is so much more smooth with Rocksteady paired with a gimbal. And I'll show you what it looks like without a gimbal. This would be how it is. So you can see it's pretty stable. I've actually got an ND8 filter on because I'm trying to keep the settings or the frame rate at 25 frames per second. That's Barangay on the other side that you can see. Yeah, so no gimbal, no selfie stick, just with my hands. And yeah, that's what it looks like without any mechanical stabilizers. Just the electronic stabilizer within the Action 5. Ferry was just leaving one of the wharfs, and so it was signaling the other boats, yachts. And there's a big barge that's coming in at the end as well. It's probably not that much visible from this end. So yeah, one of the things that I really like about this is it also has an extension rod built into the gimbal. So I can actually raise it at a level where it doesn't look like it's looking up at me. And in case you're wondering what I'm taking photos of, there's a lot of yachts next to me. And I'm actually going to use the removable microphone to turn you guys around so you can see it too. There we go. It's a little bit windy, so there might be some movement there. But yeah, so we've got a wharf here with all the birds where, yeah, the boats are docked. It actually goes all the way down to the opposite end of this dock. So to give you an idea, this is the gimbal here, and you can see that it's extended. It's got built-in tripod legs. Yes, built-in, I'll show you. Go. And then there is that removable remote. And this is the bit that has that sensor, which was failing miserably just a little bit ago. But I think it's failing to recognize the gesture, mainly because it was too bright and I was wearing white. But the only thing that I would say about this, and why I was having second thoughts and thinking about the Hohem iSteady Pro 4, is because it's not built for a action camera. So when I actually put my camera, I can't see the screen. If I'm filming myself, it's not a problem because the front screen would show me that I am in frame. But if I am filming away from myself, then I can't actually see the screen. But it's not a big deal because I've got the Mimo Action, what's it called? DJI Mimo app anyway. So I can see it from there. And also it's wide enough that even if I wasn't 100% with the framing, it would capture what I needed to capture. Okay, so right now it's probably following me while I'm trying to take photos. Right, so I thought I'd give you an idea of how I've set this up. As you can see here in the reflection on the mirror, I've got the Action 5 Pro placed in a way where if this was a mobile phone, this would be in landscape mode. So, and I've got it a little bit higher so that it's not like sort of like looking up to my face in the mirror. There is a built-in tripod leg, which I feel is very sturdy as opposed to the usual plastic ones that you screw up at the bottom, because these ones are metal and they're very strong. It doesn't really make much movement. Okay, so I'm filming this on regular video mode, 4K 25 frames per second, but with an ISO ISO maximum of 6400. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when I turn it to the Supernight mode. So let me just go ahead and change that up. Right, so now this is on Supernight, and when I looked at what the ISO equivalent or what the ISO setting is on Supernight, it's 10,140 for it to look like this. So I don't know how grainy or noisy this video clip is, but this is the Supernight one. Now I'm gonna head outside and walk with a gimbal so that you can see, because my problem with my Action 3 before was the ghosting. It was always the motion blur and how everything is just shaky when it gets dark. And even with like Rocksteady, it just wasn't cutting it. But I do know that it's also because I use a lower shutter speed. So when I go out now, I'm still gonna use a lower shutter speed of 25. No, the shutter frame rate of 25, the shutter speed is 1/50. And then I'm also gonna take a few clips in regular video and also in Supernight where it is 50 frames per second, and then the shutter speed will be 1/100 so that I keep to the 180 rule, and then see how it goes in post. All right, so let's do that. So I've come outside, and just to give you an idea of how dark it is, like there's literally no sun, that's just the lights. And this is the normal shooting mode in video, and I've got it at a maximum ISO of 12,800. So we're gonna walk down this pavement, and I'm not even like changing the pace of my walking. This is just me walking naturally. So hopefully that's showing you. It's got Rocksteady on, and it's got the gimbal on as well. Now we're gonna change it to Supernight. All right, so this is now Supernight. And again, just really walking normal pace. Okay, so now this one is the regular video mode with maximum ISO of 12,800 without any electronic stabilization, just the gimbal. I'm anticipating that there is going to be quite a bit of ghosting or motion blur. Now this one is Supernight, and electronic stabilization is also turned off. So this is just the gimbal, and in both the regular and this one, it's 25 frames per second with shutter speed of 1/50. So in the next set of videos, I'm gonna do 50 frames per second with 1/100. Okay. Now this is the regular video shooting mode, 50 frames per second, 1/100 shutter speed, Rocksteady on, and maximum ISO of 12,800. Now this is Supernight mode, 50 frames per second, 1/100 shutter speed, and rock steady on. Now this is Supernight, 50 frames per second, 1/100 shutter speed, no electronic stabilization, just the gimbal. Alright, now this is the regular video mode, 50 frames per second, 1/100 shutter speed, no electronic stabilization, just the gimbal. Maximum ISO 12,800. Right, so I think I forgot to mention in the start of the video that I will be filming this in D-Log 10-bit so that I could get the colors back in color grading afterwards. DJI has got loops for both the Pocket 3 and the Action 5. I think they have it also for the Action 4. So I'm going to be using that to bring back the color after the vlog. But as you have seen in the video clips, it is significantly better in terms of the Supernight, but you can also replicate that by increasing the ISO of your either Action 4 or your Action 3. I have yet to test that onto my Action 3 if that's even going to work, but so far with the new sensor of the Action 5, it works pretty well. And yeah, even without the rock steady with just the gimbal, you can make it work. It's not as bad as previous footages that I had with my Action 3, mainly because it's really not meant for evening shoots anyway. But if you're looking to use this as a vlogging camera, that's going to work really well for you. Alright, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, and if I don't have the answer, I'll try to find out for you. Alright, thanks.